Hello, and welcome in. I am the Digital Shaman, and welcome to the channel where we discuss the intersection of spirituality and technology. So today's video is near and dear to my heart because even though I have a lot of fun with you all doing cryptocurrency tarot and even some of the reviews I have done videos for on this channel, like the Louis Vuitton bag and the Pimp mat and the Ormus, and I definitely have some more things that I like to review. Essentially, why this video is near and dear to my heart, I call myself the Digital Shaman for a reason. And you all see some of that with the fact that I use the tarot apps on all my tarot readings. Like, that's just what I do. I enjoy the access that tarot apps affords me, without having to necessarily, have a whole bunch of physical decks here and there. So today's video is essentially a 7-step app review process that I developed to help guide you all to choose apps that, I feel will be appropriate to, again, what do I always say, usher us into the age of Aquarius by combining our divination arts, being astrology, tarot, numerology. You'll be surprised if you look around. There's a lot of spiritual things in the App Store, combining that with technology. And, again, like if we can use divination arts to prepare us for what spiritual healing, ascension, and, everything in between, we always, I'm sitting here, I just lost my point. I was gonna say we always have our phones with us, but believe it or not, my phone actually is in another room. But for the most part, hey, actually, let me redeem myself. I don't have my phone, but I got my iPad. So we always have the point being, we always have a device near us. And again, I always try to say, I'm gonna drop a link to an article, right? An article that I wrote that discusses my own digital spiritual practice. In that article, one of the things that I advocate for is an integration or blending of your analog. And so for those who are like, I don't want to speak too much tech, analog is just basically paper or anything that's non-digital. Yeah, think of analog as anything non-digital. And for my Erykah Badu fans, we all know her famous tagline, "Analog girl in the digital world." So when I say an integration or a blending, you can still wake up in the morning, do your morning pages in a physical paper journal, still pull a physical tarot card. Trust me, I have apps on my phone that I do a daily draw with, but I still pull physical oracle cards each day. Like, I pull cards actually throughout the day all the time, physical and digital. So if anything, like I said, it enables us to go deeper. And I want to develop this video to help us choose apps that support that process safely. With that being said, again, one of the reasons why I developed this template, this app review process, because unfortunately, I'm not going to make this video all about these two apps, but CoStar and Pattern. First and foremost, like I said, I don't need to say much about CoStar. If you're not aware, they have had scandals off and on in the news. Scandals off and on related to, first and foremost, they're both astrology apps. Let me take a step back. Just to me, just to put it kind of simple, the developer or the developer team, they really didn't display a lot of integrity in terms of maybe some of the descriptions and just the way they kind of handled again, it's a trust. You're forming an intimate relationship with this app. You're opening yourself up to spirit. You got to trust. I say it's your trust, it's your spiritual supply chain. Same thing, like if you're not aware of what a supply chain is, that's how we get goods, logistics. It's how, let's use an example, how Walmart gets deliveries from their supplier and on and on. That's called a supply chain. And it's the same thing. If we're getting a reading, we're opening ourselves up, the reader's opening themselves up, spirit is channeling all through that. And again, now you have the medium of yourself, your spirits, the device, the developer, and on and on. Again, that's your energy supply chain, and you need to be able to form integrity and have integrity and trust and know that this app is worthy of your time. And you blending your energy with it, because it is forming a relationship. Sorry, my arm is trying to fall asleep, which is weird. So long story short, like I said, I don't want to get into the costar controversies with the developer and whatnot. I just say Google it. Like I said, I don't even want to bring it up. So I'm sorry, let me actually take another step back. It's funny just how intuition works, and I can't remember if this is before or after I developed the digital shaman concept. But yes, now I can just tell the whole story in a nutshell. I came to work one day and my coworkers were ranting and raving about this app, and they said, we think it's astrology, but we're not sure. And for some reason I looked at it and I was like, no, I'm not downloading. I'm not downloading. And they kept badgering me. Finally I said, okay, I downloaded. So I downloaded it, and again, and I may be mixing, I can't remember if it was CoStar and Pattern. And like I said, let me say this story was, my God, probably like 2017. So 3-4 years ago. I'm pretty sure their login methods may have changed. But the only way you could register to use the app was through phone number. And I'm like, no, that's red flag. So I never ever downloaded CoStar or Pattern on my phone. So flipping gears, like I said, please just Google all about CoStar. I don't want to talk about it. Pattern is, I've seen people send me screenshots from it, and I'm like, what is this? So I'm just going to rehash here. This is not Digital Shaman speaking. This is me talking from Google. I'll put this on a screenshot right here, because it's an interesting description of what Pattern is. It says, the pattern and app algorithmically tied to astrology, but stripped of its polarizing verbiage, sun signs, planets, Mercury in retrograde. Instead, the daily prompts and assessments seem to peer with a non-judgy X-ray vision into the dustier corners of astrology. So that's a lot there. I'm like, algorithmically tied to astrology. I'm like, are they using AI? I would love to really understand what that means. So Pattern, I feel like, is okay. It seems like, just again, it's a numbing down of with the true art of astrology, and maybe that some people need that. So I'm not going to ding Pattern too much, but again, I think that those two apps, and like I said, I don't know if there's been some controversy with Pattern, but I just know that's another app for some reason intuitively. Let me take this headband off, y'all. It's getting rough with my hair. Those are the two apps intuitively I was never drawn to use. So with that being said, let's jump right into the 7-step process. And the first step actually is, just like tarot, step 0. It's not the full, but I feel like you need to take a step back. Step 0 is, what is this? What did I just download? What am I looking for? And I feel that, sometimes I tell people when it comes to apps, especially the App Store is ridiculous how many apps are in there. People get overwhelmed. So you need to think about, what does this integrate? What is this replacing? Like I say, especially for people who are new to spiritual apps, if you just download an astrology app and you don't even understand how to read a chart, that's going to be a conflict. So like I said, let's start with something easier. If you already do a daily tarot journal or do a daily tarot draw, then get an app that simulates that. So that's step 0. Kind of think about that. And for me, this is for my so that's for my beginners. And so for my people who are a little bit more of data nerds or something like that, I also, and this is also, like, let me also add this. Since I'm doing since I'm discussing this 7-step app review process, eventually I'm going to review tons and tons of apps on this channel. And in order for all of us to stay organized, the algorithm, and for searching, I'm going to be using a hashtag to discern, okay, this app is tarot, hashtag tarot. This app is hashtag a journal. This app is hashtag learning. Because for some reason, a lot of the tarot apps include a learning element, which is great. So again, that's another need. Hey, I'm just brand new. I went to a couple tarot meetups, or I got a reading and I want to learn. You go into the App Store and search for tarot learning. So that's step 0. What is your need? What are you trying to integrate or replace? Step 1 is price and first impression. Price is key, because some pro astrology apps, talking to Time Passages Pro and Astro Gold, I believe each app is, I'm not going to Google it here on the fly, but they're at least $30 plus. So, if you're going to spend that amount of money, you need to know what you're working with. And that can consist of a multitude of things. Do you get a demo? Especially, what is actually, people don't realize like the rise of subscriptions actually being pushed by Apple. I'm not sure about Google. It's being pushed by the owners. So, a lot of apps are becoming subscription, especially, I have some other like some Vedic astrology apps that are a subscription. And I have one app actually. When you add up, because anyone who's bought pro astrology software knows it's based on modules. And I remember, actually, egg on my face. I think I forgot to cancel the subscription. And like I said, I'm sorry, my phone is away. I'll give you all follow up on the next video. But I forgot to cancel the subscription, and I was like, why did I get charged like $80? It was like an annual for this complex Vedic astrology app, and I just it overwhelmed me and shut me down. But maybe saying this, I need to revisit it. So anyway, back to step one, price and first impression. So do you get a demo? Are you able to try it out? When you first open the app, is it aesthetically pleasing? And that just means, I was about to say gooey. Y'all might be like, what is that? So let me try to bring the tech talk down. Gooey or aesthetic. First of all, let's say aesthetic. Aesthetic is just kind of like how do you view, like if you're viewing a painting, you discern if it's pretty or not. So that's aesthetic. Like what do you take away from its beauty? And I say that because the GUI is essentially like the graphical, that's what it stands for, the graphical user interface. And y'all probably still like, what in the world? It's basically what you see is what you get. When you open up the screen, it's kind of like, imagine you used to using your banking app and boom, the whole interface changes. That's the interface. That's the GUI. So, you might be like, oh man, oh, this is harder to use. Or you be like, oh, is this great? I love it. They fixed a lot of things. They made it more intuitive, less clicks, like this and that. So that is related to step one, price and first impression. If you're going to get a complex, expensive app, is it something that immediately overwhelms you, or does it have like an embedded tutorial? Those are all the different little things that matter. Step two, and this is definitely very important, I call it publisher of the app / developer aura vibe. And the very first tenet of that is intuitive feeling. Like I said, I didn't even know anything about CoStar or Pattern, and I'm not downloading them. So you got to go with your gut. That's step one. Step two is, finding out if it's an independent company or a corporation. Best example I can give of that, especially for like the various tarot apps that y'all always see me use in the readings. I tell you that the majority of my readings are Fool's Dog, an independent company, shout out right up the road in Silver Spring, no S, Silver Spring, Maryland. Whereas opposed to, I haven't done it too much. I think mainly on my Oracle card videos. Those are Hay House applications. Hay House Oracle decks. And Hay House has what? All the big hitters. Esther and Jerry Hicks. Actually, I have my iPad. Let me tell y'all real quick some more Hay House decks. Work Your Light Oracle, Moonology, Angels and Ancestors Oracle, Angel Prayers, Starseed. They have all the popular. Sorry, Alexa wanted to be in the video. Oh, oops! Look at me turning on my white noise in one of my Echo speakers. Anyway, like I said, so with Hay House, what is annoying is Pop-Up City, and actually asked for my app. Excuse me, they actually asked for my location when I start the app. I was like, for what? So again, these are all clues to let you know, do you want to use the app? I mean, for me, I just said no, and the pop-ups are intrusive, but the app, back to the GUI, the app is pretty. The price is okay. The price is okay. For Hay House, I feel like I'm probably not charging more or didn't turn on something. Actually, that's going to be a separate video. Hay House would benefit from, instead of me paying, I think their apps were like $6.99 and $9.99. Actually, let me pay $20 a month or something like that and get all the apps. And as y'all add more or something like that, that's, again, we need to see that. That's why I'm also doing these videos to help foster growth in the spiritual app development world, because, we have a need. Millions and billions of people have cell phones. And think about, again, I want to introduce this topic properly. Think of the young person, I don't want to say kid, think of the young person who may be self-conscious of buying a tarot deck, but they can get a tarot app, so it just allows for more access. So again, we're still on step two, but these are just like kind of the A, B, and C, D underneath. So let's say C is documentation and help. Especially depending on how complex the app is, is the website thorough enough, or, again, is there a help section in the app? So I think that's definitely important. Remember, this is, again, the developer aura vibe. How do they help you? You're helping them, especially if you purchase them. Everything's an exchange. Step forward. I mean, excuse me. The next one, I was going to say next one. This is very important, especially in this era that we're in, the data privacy policy, or the ethos, which is the integrity of the developer. First and foremost, please, I hope they have a website. Are they easy to contact? Things like that. But Apple actually has made this easy. I think Google does it too. But you know what? Let me take that back. I'm only going to speak to Apple because I think I wrote about this, but unfortunately, I'm not trying to drag on the Google Play Store, because I'm not going to keep pulling devices, but I have several Android devices here. They just don't have the variety of apps like Apple does. And I mean, that's just kind of across the board, from productivity to spirituality. So anyway, with that being said, Apple has come up with, I think they made a privacy policy mandatory. Like, I know you can see it, like, when you're in the App Store. Excuse me, water. When you're in the actual App Store browsing, I believe it's viewable. So please make sure you understand, again, I may not pick on hands. Is the developer selling my data? Is there, because what I like to see is their privacy policy cited in the Apple App Store and then on their website. And some developers make it very, very clear. And you want to see that. Again, you want to build that trust relationship. So the next one is, I kind of talked about this already, but do they offer trials, refund? Is there a good faith effort to kind of sell you on the app, especially if it is a subscription or expensive? This next one is definitely very, very, very key. Not spammy with ads. Because I have some apps where the ad rolls are intense, but it's. And I have some apps where the ad rolls are okay, but I get it. So again, it's a fine line. So I think that's why I just say it's not spammy. So that kind of wraps up step 2, which is looking at the publisher of the app and kind of like gauging the developer app aura. So step 3 kind of almost relates to step 0, which is, does this solve the problem? If you downloaded an app to learn tarot, or to journal, or to learn numerology, or yada yada, are you making progress? So in the tech world, we have this example of what we call use case, which is, so example, let me try to think of something here on the fly. My use case may be, I need, uh, I need an app to be able to notify me each morning of my tarot card, or to allow me to pick, like something like, you just make up in a scenario and find out, can the app support it? That's pretty much in a nutshell, like a use case. Or the alternative, again, I'm kind of giving y'all these logical terms because you need to kind of, like with spiritual woo, kind of integrate like some affirm, what am I looking for around the box, because otherwise it's real nebulous. So with that being said, if you can't really think of scenarios of what this app needs to do for you, then the secondary choice is something we call requirements, which is, you state what you need. Like, I need a ball. I need it to be red. I need it to be round. I need it to be able to bounce on a basketball court. All those are requirements. And then when you when you add each requirement together, you get the final product. And that's the app. Is the app matching all the requirements that you identify? You need to, kind of think about it logically. Like one, now some more examples are coming to me. Let's say the app has to only work via connection, and you don't have cellular, you only have Wi-Fi. So half the time when you're out and about, the app won't work because it won't work offline. So boom, I mean, like it doesn't meet your requirements. So again, that's how you need to think when you're analyzing an app, and that's just like step 3. So step 4, we kind of lightening up just a tad, is the best features. You kind of want it to be a pleasurable experience. You don't want to feel like, okay, well, yeah, this app is meet my requirements and the developer is not scammy, but it's just such a chore to use. So I would say really kind of identify the best features, what makes you feel, joyful or happy about it. You want to be able to. Oh yeah, so bottom line is, you want to feel good about the app. So that's step number 4, which is best features. So step 5 actually is, critiques. After you kind of feel like, okay, you got to gauge on what's good about it. Now what is, you need to weigh. It's definitely like a weighing process. What are the critiques or the improvements? And in some cases, like I have exchanges with some of these app developers. Like, 'cause most of them are, the majority are indie, or independent. Let me sorry, independent, and they respond very quickly. Like, I actually have seen changes happen. Like, oh, I never thought about that. Boom, boom, you got it. Like one of the biggest ones I love to see, and I'm like jumping ahead a little bit, but enabling iCloud sync. I lost my point. Oh yeah, critiques or features or improvements. So you want to make sure, like I said, you're getting enough from it. And if you do feel like, oh hey, maybe if they fix this or redesign it this way or added this app will go from a 4 to a 5. Send it in. The developers need to know, number one, they get confidence from knowing, oh hey, people are using my app. And again, Age of Aquarius, it's a collaboration. It's a collaboration. 11th house technology groups together. Like, that's just what we're in right now. So step 6 is what I call technical magic for all my nerds out there. And, especially if you have constraints with your phone. I mean, I know a lot of these iPhones are coming with minimum 250 gigabyte and this and that. But, so the first tenet under technical magic is the app size. I mean, if you're on tight on space or you're on an old iPhone with like 32 gigs and you get like a pro astrology app, and I'm not saying they're this large, but let's say it's 2 gigs or something like that. And, can you afford, you take a lot of pictures, so just kind of knowing the app size considerations. Then the next one, like I said, what's very important to me is, backup. Like, especially if I'm going to be using a tarot journal every day or this or that, and I get a new device, am I going to lose everything? I've seen both sides. I've seen both sides. So that's definitely important consideration. The next one, and this one is definitely, I'm about to say they're all important. I love the tech part, but are they using the modern OS interface features? Meaning, every time. So let me take a step back. If you're into the Apple world, at least twice a year they hold like a WDC or a conference. Let me say a conference where they announce new features. It's kind of like how iPhones go from basic video to shoots in 4K, and I'm trying to think what are some of the new things, like being able to charge on the back of it. So as the phones get bigger and smaller, like, is the app able to adjust? Like, if you have apps, we all seen it where the app doesn't update and you have the black space. So again, using modern OS features like widgets. There we go. That's one that's pretty new. Do they have a widget? I think iCloud is very important. Do they have a native iPad app, or is it stretched out? Looking at Hey House. That's like, if I could use if I could use Hey House Oracle card apps on my iPad, my whole world would be great. But they come out stretched across the screen. So that's why I always read with Fool's Dog. I only do Hay House when I do, and y'all see this as I'll do more readings. I have to do the Oracle pool on the iPad Mini and then the tarot reading on the iPad. That's because it doesn't integrate with modern iOS operating system features. Okay, next one is, does it require a login? Like, I don't care if we're talking about spirituality or not. That's annoying when you have to create a login to use the app. Point blank, period. But to kind of mitigate that, it is safer now. Especially, please use this. Like, Apple has an innate ability to create let's just say a randomized email address for you, so you can always hide your address. So please use that feature. So, and it's all kind of integrated. Like, it's integrated. It'll say, oh, you need to create a login, and then it'll prompt and walk you through being able to, like I said, hide your email address. So I highly advocate for that. And the next kind of feature of technical magic is cross compatibility. And for some of y'all, let me just define that. That is, does this app work on, iPhone, iPad, can I talk? Mac OS, maybe even bonus points for Windows, bonus points for Android. How many different, we call them operating system, phone and computer operating systems can it work across? Or even a web version, meaning you can get on it from anywhere as long as you can get online and use it in your web browser. So that's cross compatibility. I think that at a minimum, you should see the Holy Trinity, the new Holy Trinity, the digital Holy Trinity, which is iOS meaning phone, iPad, and I'm sorry, I was gonna say Android, but I'm gonna say Mac OS. Yeah, that's That's why Apple makes it sweet. So that is the digital holy trinity. And bonus points for Android. We're not going to forget you all. Bonus points if you do make your app on Android. And that's another bonus. Excuse me, another shout out to Fool's Doll. Fool's Doll tarot apps are on Android, and they're great. So I highly recommend that. The next one of technical magic, and this is important too. I said they're all important, but exporting, like that's something I'd like to see improve across, especially I'm gonna say digital tarot and oracle card apps. You know, when you pull a card and you have like all of it, they give you all the like white book meaning and interpretation. And you hit export and you just get the picture. You don't get like any, or you get it's just not a seamless process. So I say, is exporting, or is it easy to get data out of the app? Can you share with others? Like some apps are great. I've seen it where you can email it to, you get the share sheet and it's like text, email, this and that across the board. So again, and that kind of ties back into what I just said about using modern iOS features. Is it easy to copy and paste photos and text? Looking at you, time passages. I have a lot of videos on time passages. Y'all, for a $30 app, you cannot export a report. That's unacceptable. But I'm gonna leave it at that. So again, is the only way to get data out to copy and paste everything manual, what we call manual. Photos and text. If you have to take a screen. In some cases, in order for me to kind of save my reading, I take a screenshot of the picture. No, I ended up taking like 3 screenshots. The picture, the text, because I'm not copy and pasting. Then I have to store it to like either Evernote, Notion, or another tool. Or day one is my journal. So, again, that's a manual process. So I really want to see tarot, spiritual apps, especially the ones that mimic decks, get better with exporting. Sorry for the mini rant. And then last is to kind of wrap up technical magic is, and this is, I said they're all important. I keep saying it. Does it work offline? And that is, because, sometimes I'm like, why do you need a front-end connection to the internet? What are you pulling? But actually, let me take that back. I keep forgetting now. A lot of apps are hosted and work in the cloud. So actually, I'm formally, hold on, ding ding, striking that from the record, because it is true now. A lot more apps do work in the cloud. So that's a lot more acceptable than maybe back in the day. But in some cases, I think it does need to be some consideration for everything needs to be online. And that's that. So. Okay, so we are at the last step, and thank you. Hold on, I'm gonna try to be a pro. Drop a thumbs up if you made it all the way to step 7, the last step, because I really do appreciate that. And this last step is very simple. It's recap. What is the overall rating? And you all will see with me when I get to reviewing more different apps and decks. And I use that interchangeably because it's weird. It's like it's an app, but it's a deck. I use globes and stars. So it's like I said earlier, is it 3-star, 2-star, 5-star? I'm gonna give you an overall rating, and essentially, is it beginner, advanced? Is it part of a series? Like I feel like when you buy one Hay House Oracle app, the rest of them function the same in terms of look and feel. Actually, a few of them give you less spread. So actually, I guess I should, because I always go back and forth. I'm like, should I review every single Oracle card app? But there are little nuances that I guess should be pointed out. And I have a Virgo midheaven, midhaven, and however you want to pronounce it. For my astrology people, that's the top of the natal chart. It's like what you're known for. And I feel like I just had a Virgo midhaven moment when I was like being nitpicky. And it's kind of weird because I kind of drag on Virgos. I mean, I rock with them because I'm an earth sign, so I rock with you all. But the thing is, what makes Virgos drive me crazy is I have a lot of Sag in my chart. And I have a certain parent with a Virgo moon. So the nitpickiness drives me crazy. But again, back to the top of the natal chart, I didn't mean to drop a mini astrology lesson is, that also relates to the 10th house, and that's the work that you do. So it's so funny. I think I spoke of this and check that video out when you, I don't know what I'm pointing to, but check the video out. I did a little bit of an introduction about me, and I say my day job, I'm an IT auditor. And auditors do what? All I do is pick out flaws in software services and products. So, even though in my personal life, I'm not a nitpicky person at all. Actually, I can't stand it. Because like I said, it goes against all my Sag blood. But, in my professional world, that's what I do. I audit, organize, and analyze things. So you all will see that. And again, this is Digital Shaman, and this has been a 7-step review process. And I'll try to type this up. I'll put a link to, I'll put this on the website. I'll put this on the website so you all can have the text version as well. But just a 7-step app review process to find out is all these spiritual apps, and there's tons and tons and tons of them out there. Please give them a look. Bottom line, are they icky or safe?